I've learned this from a mentor once. If you open your eyes, don't blink. Um, Keep your eyes open for a long, long time, just into space. Don't blink, and then you work that muscle, and then do not close it until you produce some sort of tears. And then if you get yourself near, that's fine. The next day, keep doing it every day. So later on, when you have a scene and you're doing the scene, you're looking at this, emotionless and this and that and that and that, and you're working the muscle. I know some people might say, oh, that's not real acting. That's just, you're pretending. Well, you're working those tear ducts where in such a way that it's like a muscle, where you could just look down at your image and you pretty much in that, how some people they hold back from crying, well, you can incorporate that into it where you have this thing where some people might call it a bag of tricks, but you just telling this and emotionally and the muscle strain to a part where you look up and you're already there, the tears in your eyes, and just one drop, two drops, and then, you just, continue the scene. And that visually, I think, on screen, it's 70%, maybe 80% visual and just 25% audio, so if you can produce that tear, and be able to be present there, some people might say, oh, that's not real acting, but it's the muscle that you work at it, you'll be able to incorporate that in there, where it's just certain, I can't describe it, but however it works for you, just that tear duct, just work at it. And
I think that's a huge tip, because when people see that, they can't tell whether that's fake or not, because it's regardless, it's real because it's a tear. How can you argue against the tear? And it's
yeah,
better than what you said earlier, where people they do the but then they go like this and there's no tears. That's the worst thing
oh,
ever.
yeah, that's acting, and if especially women, where you're telling this horrific story, and if you have a sense memory recall, uh, coupled with the physicality of it, um, and you're good. And for a grown man, for a huge tough guy, if you're telling the story and you get a little bit of that glassy eye, and that might be good enough,
Yeah,
and if you're a real tough guy and you shed one tear,
yeah.
just think Arnold Schwarzenegger. He could like drop one tear and just wipe it away, and he catches himself, wow, that's just amazing. This huge hulking guy, Sylvester Stallone, all those guys, um, but myself being the smaller guy, I used to play more of the victim guy, be able to get like one or two tears, um, but if someone is on screen going, you know, realistically, your snot would be running down your mouth and everything,
Yeah, yeah.
But if you could just drop a little bit, that's you visually, oh man, it's just like, wow,
Now
and
that
that's
you
like,
mention it, you know who I think does that very well? Denzel Washington does that
oh,
brilliantly.
that's another one of my favorites.
He did that in Glory when he was getting whipped and he was just staring at the camera. And now, after you said it, I realized that's the technique that he used. It wasn't an internal cry because
Uh-huh,
he kept his eyes open and then
uh-huh.
one tear just fell right out of the corner of his eye. And he does that very well. I see him do that a lot. So I
Wow.
think he uses that technique that you're talking about.
I have to watch that again. It's been so many years. In school they never teach us that. They never taught us that. They never taught us much about about fallback. Basically you're taught, you can do it. You're gonna do it. You're really gonna do it. You're like, okay, yeah, I'm really gonna do it. And you get out of school, you're thinking, God, I didn't get that audition. I didn't. Why didn't I get that audition? Why didn't I get the call back? And you have to go do a regular job. You have to do this. You have to do that. They didn't teach you to how do you get tears on screen? How do you hit your mark? How do you find your light? Because they have a spotlight coming. How do you walk into that? All that was not mentioned. Was never taught in school.